Hello, my name is Tara Affolter and the kids call me Mrs. A. And I wanted to speak to you today about language arts for the 7th and 8th graders here at HomeLink. So I use the district curriculum, my perspectives, and what I've been doing is kind of alternating between the 7th and 8th grade text, but I'm considering just using the 8th grade text, just doing like a couple units one year and then the other 2 units the next year. And then I would be saving us money so we could still do no red ink. So I use no red ink right now for grammar, and it's been great for me because I can assign small snippets and I can do a demo in class, but then they have to do some practice. And I think that's really important. I've noticed a need for grammar teaching, and with 2 days a week, I don't have a lot of time to carve out to teach all of the skills that they need to improve their grammar. So I don't know if we'll have funding for that, but I'm trying to, brainstorm ways I could get around that. And I just wanted to show you that I really use this curriculum because, number one, it has a bunch of small stories, shorter stories that we can delve into deeper, and I can teach skills that then they can apply to longer stories or to even novels. So I just want to share with you one unit that we just finished with. So and even if I was using, so this year I'm using grade 7, but typically I would be working towards the 8th grade standards. So even though it's a 7th grade book, I would still be pushing them to that next level on the standards. In this unit, it was unit number 3. It was called Turning Points. It was a great unit because it was talking about people having turning points in their life. And then it always has an essential question, which I think is great because it gives us a really big focus. And so by the end of the unit, we can answer this question using all of the knowledge that we've gained throughout the unit. What can cause a sudden change in someone's life? So we really delved into that. And as we started, the very first story that we read was about a boy who'd had a really big sudden change called At the Crossroads. Now, the nice thing about having paper pencil is I can really teach them how to highlight and annotate the book. So we're highlighting things that are important. We're asking questions. We're making connections. So it allows us to not stay at the surface level of our thinking and that we can dive deeper. So that's one thing that I'm doing. In addition to, working on the standards to teach how to write a summary, how to cite evidence and use and explain, which is something that I've focused on all year. In our 7th and 8th grade ELA class, we also write all the different modes of writing. So we write some explanatory writing, we write informational, narrative, and argumentative. So we are currently going to be doing some informational for this class right now. They just finished with the story, so I kind of wanted to show you that. So within this unit, I had them do a story. They used a story frame to plan it out. I did mini lessons on how to do more showing, how to add purposeful dialogue that actually propels the story forward, internal thinking. So all of these like mini lessons on how to make our story better. So this particular author wrote this story, and in this story, they had to have a hint of the essential question. So somebody in their story had to make a change in some way, and it could be an external or an internal force. So that was kind of a nice way to connect our unit with our writing. They did a fabulous job on their stories, and we had a writing celebration. It was awesome. I really believe in showcasing them as authors because they are authors. This particular boy wrote a 4-page story, but they were so great because I know how they started. We always have some kind of book that we're reading to with the unit. This particular one was called Hush. It was really a good story. It was a hard story. We had great conversations. They're actually finishing with a 1-page project that they're going to go a little bit deeper in the book, which I love pushing their thinking and making them have to really back up what they're thinking with evidence and with an explanation. That commentary part is very tricky for kids. They tend to put a lot of evidence and they're really good at that, but they struggle sometimes with adding their own thinking. And I really am trying to push them on that. So I'm definitely very project-based. One of the projects that we did this year, I have them do outside readings. So we've done 4. This will be our 4th one. So we did more of a realistic fiction or mystery. Then we did fantasy or science fiction. Then they had to read a biography or an autobiography of anybody they chose. And then they created this project. And this project was, they chose this person that they were interested in. They read their biography or their autobiography, and then they had to pick out 3 events in their story that somehow had an impact. So like turning points, right? Again, connecting back to the unit. With those turning points or those different events, then they had to talk about or write up and explain how did that event impact them. So you can see on this student, they did a great job. This black text is the event. This text is the explanation of how it impacted them. They did a picture, then they also did little icons that went with their paragraphs, and they also explained who that person was and why they were famous. These were amazing. I also loved the project that another project that I did in this unit is I had them basically answer the question about turning points, and they had to choose 2 of the stories, and they probably read 6 small stories. So they had to choose 2 of those stories and then explain about the turning point of the story and how it impacted them. But then they also had to talk to somebody in their family and talk about their life and what was something that had, what was a turning point for them in their life and how it impacted them. So I had people talking to their moms or their dads or their grandpas or their grandmas. But it was really interesting because they learned something about their parent that they didn't know. So I really, I like to make those connections. So again, we do no red ink for grammar. We read novels. We use the My Perspectives. I'm not necessarily using it as for every assignment that's built into it. I create my own assignments based on the standards I'm trying to teach, but I definitely like having a set of stories that have some kind of a connection. That's really helpful. I also, one last thing is I also have them do little presentations too. So they have to work at their presentation skills and being articulate as they share out. So in this particular one, when they had this, I had each share theirs, but then I just wanted them to tell us like one of the events because it ends up taking a long time when we only have 2 days a week together. I hope and I look forward to having your child in language arts 7th and 8th grade. So I appreciate your time. Thank you and have a great day.